It's Halloween. Remember to check your candy because the real-life Candyman, also known as the Pixy Stick Killer, is scarier than any urban legend.
Several other nearby towns have been suggesting that there be alternatives to trick-or-treating on Halloween. The parents say they are not willing to accept that. They want Halloween.
Hey guys, I'm Kendra Sommer and welcome to True Crime Commute. True crime for your drive to work, school, or wherever you're headed. Make sure to subscribe to our channel. It's Halloween 1974 in Pasadena, Texas, and kids are running around trick-or-treating in popular costumes like Jan Brady, Casper the Friendly Ghost, and the shark from Jaws. Ronald Clark O'Bryan, drowning in debt and desperate for cash, has the perfect way to resolve his problem: poison-laced Pixy Stix. That's right. Poison-laced Pixy Stix. Ron takes his two children, Timothy, 8, and Elizabeth, 5, trick-or-treating, and a few of the neighbor kids tag along too. The kids are going door to door picking up candy, and the group arrives at a house where nobody's home. They grow impatient and run to the next house. But Ronald stays back at the house to see if anyone's going to answer the door. He then returns to the group with 5 21-inch Pixy Stix. He says that the occupant at the house gave these candies to him and begins to distribute the Pixy Stix to the children. Ronald was very respected in his community. He was a leader in his church, worked as an optician, and also maintained the perfect family man image, taking care of his wife and their 2 children. So that being said, why would anyone suspect that there's anything besides candy in these Pixy Stix? On the way home, Ronald hands out the 5th Pixy Stick to Whitney Parker, a boy from his church. After trick-or-treating concludes, Timothy asks to have some of his Halloween candy, and he selects the Pixy Stick. Timothy had some trouble getting the Pixy Stick open because there was a staple in the middle, as if it had been resealed. Timothy then eats some of the candy, says it tastes kind of weird and has a bitter flavor. So Ronald goes to the refrigerator and suggests having some Kool-Aid to wash it all down. Timothy immediately starts complaining of stomach pain, runs to the bathroom, vomits, and Ronald holds him in his arms, but he collapses. Emergency services were called, but Timothy dies on the way to the hospital. Prosecutor Mike Hinton was working that night, got a call that an 8-year-old boy had died after eating his Halloween candy. Hinton then calls the chief medical examiner, and the morgue revealed that the boy's breath smelled like almonds, a dead giveaway for cyanide. In fact, he had enough cyanide to kill 2 people. They later confirmed that the top 2 inches of the Pixy candy had been filled with cyanide, resealed, and stapled shut. Ron tells police that he was given 5 Pixy Stix, and they're able to recover 3 of them. Police then tracked down Whitney Parker. He had fallen asleep with the Pixy Stick in hand. The staple in the wrapper had been too challenging for Parker to open. Police asked Ronald to take them to the house where the Pixy Stix had been handed out, but Ronald couldn't find the house. Police find this suspicious since the group had only trick-or-treated 2 blocks before it started raining. After walking around the neighborhood a few times, Ronald stops at the door where no one answered. Now, this home belonged to a man named Courtney Melvin, who was an air traffic controller. Melvin was working until 11 p.m. that night, and more than 200 people could verify that he was at work. So Melvin was pretty quickly ruled out. Timothy's death rattled the community. Parents were freaking out, thinking that their kids' candy could be laced with poison.
Pasadena police are warning parents to check trick-or-treat candy like this and to throw it out if they find anything suspicious.
A few days after Timothy's funeral, an insurance agent called, inquiring about the 2 new life insurance policies that were taken out a few days before Halloween. Ronald had called the insurance company the morning after Timothy's funeral, inquiring about the payout timeline. You see, Ronald was in a lot of debt. $100,000 back then. Today, $640,000. Now that's some heavy stuff. So he had a lot of problems. He had trouble holding down a job, his car was about to be repossessed, and his home foreclosed on. In the span of 10 years, he worked 21 different jobs. The man just could not hold down anything. In January of 1974, Ronald had taken out an insurance policy of around $10,000. That's about $61,000 in today's money. And he took out another policy of $20,000 right before Timothy's death. And then he ramped that up and took an additional $20,000 policy on each child the day before Halloween. In total, all these policies equaled $60,000 back in the day. That equals a $370,000 payout in today's money. Please keep in mind, with all of that cash, that's only half of his debt load. Prior to Halloween, Ronald had visited the chemical supply store in Houston, inquiring about purchasing cyanide. Police were never able to pin down where Ronald purchased the cyanide from, but several days after his son's funeral, he was arrested. He was indicted on capital murder and 4 attempts of attempted murder. During his trial in 1975, a chemist testified that Ronald had asked him how much cyanide you would need to kill someone and where you can purchase it. Ronald's defense was based around an urban legend of a mad chemist who hands out poison-laced candy and needles to children. Needless to say, that wasn't very strong. In 1976, a jury took a little over an hour to sentence him to death in the electric chair. After sentencing, his wife divorced him, but she did remarry and her new husband did adopt her daughter. While in prison on death row, the other prisoners hated him because he killed his own child. His execution date was pushed back several times, but he was eventually executed March of 1984. Now, during his execution, a crowd of people gathered and they were yelling, "Trick or treat." Thanks for watching True Crime Commute. If you have a case that we need to check out, make sure to send us an email here. We'll see you on the next one.